There you go. Canada's next Prime Minister vowing to fight back against President Trump and the tariffs. The Canadian Liberal Party electing Mark Carney to succeed the outgoing Prime Minister, Justin Trudeau. He won the vote with 86%, takes over until a federal election's called later in the year. And until recently, it looked like his party was doomed in that election. They were going to lose. But now all the threats from Trump and the backlash caused by those threats may be turning it around for the party. And Carney might have a chance to stay long term. Let's talk now with our favorite Canadian political analyst, the TV host, 16-year-old Wyatt Sharpe, who's back in the show. You know what's great, Wyatt, about having you back is I don't have to every single time, oh, he's so young and he's so great. Now I can just talk to you like any guest because you're as good as any of the other guests we have on. So tell us what we should know about this guy, Carney.
Yeah, I think right now what you're seeing in Canada, particularly from the Liberals, is an opportunity to try and disassociate, so to speak, from Justin Trudeau. Justin Trudeau has been Prime Minister now for 10 years, since 2015. And what you're seeing is a certain type of apathy towards him. You certainly see the Conservatives in Canada trying to paint him as the carbon tax Prime Minister, as the Prime Minister of recessions and inflation and just disasters in general, scandals. And so right now in Canada, the Conservatives are trying to play this game of how do we associate Mark Carney with Justin Trudeau when Mark Carney himself is differentiating himself from the Prime Minister by doing a number of things, just one of which, and an example of that is him saying that he would actually scrap the consumer price on carbon that we currently have here in Canada.
Yeah, he's an economist by trade. He's a central banker by trade, I should say, both in Canada and in the UK, which is actually quite interesting that they even let him have that job. That there's this kind of the bio on Mark Carney. You know, you mentioned the Conservatives. So there's a guy, Pierre Poilievre, I guess, who's the Conservative leader, and he was, you know, it wasn't that long ago, every article you read, they said, this guy's a shoo-in to be the Prime Minister if they call an election. I think it was up like 20 points in the polls. But is it true that all the backlash against Trump has really hurt that party? And what does it look like now?
Yeah, I was actually talking to Pierre Poilievre's former press secretary today, and I asked him about that because, as you said, Pierre Poilievre had been riding high in the polls by about 20% for several months, really. And so what the Conservatives are really saying right now is they're going on defense. They're saying never were they going to be able to maintain that 20% lead, but it is a real problem. And really, I think the root cause of it is the fact that inflation is a big issue in Canada right now. It's impacting many families across the country. And because of Mark Carney's fiscal experience, of course, he was the governor of the Bank of Canada, as you said, during the 2008 recession in particular. He managed that, and it made Canada, and it put Canada in a better kind of place than many other countries. And so the Conservatives are having a really difficult time trying to associate Mark Carney.
So it's more than Trump.
Yeah, I think so. And I think right now the issue of tariffs and trying to associate that with some of what's happening here, Mark Carney knows how to deal with some of these issues. And as the Liberals are saying, Pierre Poilievre has been a politician since he was 21 years of age, and he doesn't have as much experience in not only the private sector, but in finance as well.
21 sounds a little old. You'll be retired by that point at this rate, right? Thanks. Good stuff, Wyatt. So we'll keep having you back. You're the single best Canadian analyst we've had on the show. So whenever you're available, we're going to have you back. Thanks so much for watching. Just go to joinnn.com to find NewsNation on your television provider. And don't forget to click the red subscribe button below to get more of NewsNation's fact-driven, unbiased coverage.